my name's Alyssa, and welcome to my in-depth guide on the classic vanilla glazed donut. And let me tell you, these donuts came out so good. They were so fluffy and pillowy, you'll want to take a nap on them. But stay awake because we're about to make the dough. I've measured out all my ingredients. We have active dry yeast, your warm milk to bloom the yeast, 3 separate additions of bread flour. This is a mixture of the cold milk, egg yolks, and vanilla. Our sugar and salt, and finally the butter. Whoops! Melted butter. Now let's make the sponge. Heat the milk to 100 degrees, which is the perfect temperature for blooming the yeast. Let this sit for about 5 minutes. Once you see some bubbles, you know it's activated and you can add the first addition of flour. Mix that just until combined. Cover with your cutest bowl cover and let it sit for 30 minutes. The sponge should double in size and be really airy. Next, add the cold milk, egg yolk, and vanilla mixture. And when that comes together, add the second addition of flour. Followed by the sugar and salt, and slowly add your melted butter. Switch to your dough hook, and we're going to sprinkle in that final flour. When that's all incorporated, you should have a nice soft dough. Scrape out the dough on a floured surface, flour your hands, and round the dough into a loose ball for bulk fermentation. Cover for a half hour or until doubled in size. Round the dough up into a nice ball. I put this dough in the fridge for about 15 minutes so it's a little easier to roll. You don't have to do that, but it's easier. The most important part of this classic donut is its glaze. I use some powdered sugar, vanilla bean paste, and just enough water until it gets thick and ribbony. We're gonna roll out this nice fluffy dough, flipping it over so the less perfect side is on top because this will become the bottom. Roll it about a ½ inch thick and make sure there's enough flour underneath so it's relaxed and won't shrink once you cut it. This is my favorite ring cutter because the hole is the right proportion. Some other ring cutters have too big of a hole and your donut will look like an onion ring, and we don't want that. Obviously, save all your scraps. You can re-round them nicely into a ball and re-proof them and make more donuts. Or you could do what I did and turn it into a chocolate babka. I never waste any dough. Lay your donuts on a wire rack to proof. I used my turned off oven as a proofer by adding some warm water to a pan at the bottom. Check the donuts at about 15-20 minutes. When you poke them, you should leave your indent. Then they're ready to fry. As always, I'm using Crisco because a solid oil will keep the donuts from absorbing too much oil and becoming greasy. These donuts have a really good proof line, which means they were perfectly proofed, and the oil was the right temperature. These donuts are so light and fragile. My friend Allison, who taught me everything I know about donuts, used to always say to glaze the donuts with angel fingers. You want to glaze them while they're still hot and spread the glaze to the edge for the perfect drips, my favorite part. These came out so perfect. They're so pillowy and melt in your mouth. It's easy to eat 3 or 4 at a time. And I did. If you watched my last video, I went over some of the same techniques, but I wanted this to be my official donut how-to because this was such a classic. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.